everyone, I'm Jessica and welcome to Disastrously Domestic. It's been a while since I've recorded anything, but I have been working my little fingers to the bone on a couple of projects. I've been fairly monogamous, but I just feel like it's been forever and I need to record something before I go out of town next week. I'm in the final stretch of summer break. My boy goes back on the 7th of September, which is really late. I'm still kind of getting used to that. Growing up in the Midwest, we tend to go back to school in August. But I don't know if it's the weather around here, but I know of a few other podcasters and Instagrammers that I follow who also knit that are in the same general area. They tend to go back to school in September. And yeah, it's been a long summer. Even though we did get out of school later, like it's the same, I don't know, it just feels so long. I'm one of those moms who is leaping for joy when school starts back up again. Not that I don't love my precocious 6-year-old to bits, but only so much I can take, y'all. Only so much I can take. So if this is your first time here, again, my name's Jessica. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I have a son, Warren, who is 6, and a husband, Max, who, is older than that. And I burst out laughing frequently, and it's probably, if you're wearing headphones or something, blowing out your ears, and I am sorry, but I'm animated. Deal with it. So what else do I want to say right off the bat? If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am also disastrously_domestic there. And on Ravelry, I am sugarsticks, proper spelling of both words. And there is a Ravelry group. If you search for Disastrously Domestic, you can find it. It is insanely quiet. I think people joined out of pity, and they're not, talking to each other or anything. But you can join and introduce yourself if you want, or you can chat me up on Instagram. I am super active on the Instagram. Okay, I selfie. Believe in your selfie. I do. So I think that's it for the introductions. What more can I say? Do you want to see one of my dogs? Because I'm sitting on the couch and I can show you one. Just a second. This is my firstborn child, Matilda Dilly. Matilda, do you want to say hello? Her heart is beating so fast. She does not love me. She does not love me. But I love her. I do. Sometimes she comes up to me and puts her face on my lap, rests her chin on my lap, and I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. And I just want to snuggle her and pull her close, but I know that she'll just walk away. It's a sad life when the things you love don't love you in return. Unrequited. This is Crazy Town. Welcome. I am going to start right off the bat. I have one knitting FO. It is probably the elephant that you're hearing crashing around the room. A bright red elephant. Maybe you've noticed. This is my Vian cardigan. It is dunsies. Let's stand up a little. I have to kind of crouch. This is really working my quads. Is it the quads that I'm working right now? I don't know my muscles. The ones in your thighs. That's what I'm working right now. Sarah Connor. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys could see my pose, it is not attractive. But this is the Vian cardigan by Andy Satterland. It is so done. Can you see the back? see the back. It's lacy and lovely. I'm totally mermaiding on the couch right now. I was a mermaid in a past life. I knit it out of Cascade 220 Sport. And I did, all my bind-offs are tubular bind-offs. My buttons are not my first choice of button. They're just brassy buttons, but they work. I did purchase a pair of cute vintage buttons for it, but the buttonholes seemed a little too big for the buttons, which kind of bummed me out because they were pretty. They were glass and vintage, but I'll keep them. I'll use them for something else, surely, because they are totally my style. They're very deco with like gold. And if I were organized, I would show them to you. But I'm not. So, I didn't do any modifications on this. I shouldn't say that. I changed a needle size for the waistband. I went down a needle size and also did the tubular bind off there. However, I should not have done that. When I buttoned this lower button, I feel like it pulls a lot more. You can see it's like it's pulling there a lot more than it does up here. And that is because there's a little less give in that area. So, live and learn. I think it still looks okay with that button unbuttoned. And I tend to wear things like that anyway, so it's not a total travesty, but noted. Next time I won't do that if I knit this again. And I knit this in like 2 weeks or something like that. It was ridiculous. It was so fast, so fast. That's my only FO. So yeah, I mean, it's a sweater, so it's an FO, and I think it looks darling with dresses. I'm wearing a dress that I will talk about a little bit later in the sewing section. So yeah, I guess I will just show some of my knitting now that I've been working on, because there's not a lot. Usually I'm like, because there's a lot, but this time there's really not a lot. I've been kind of monogamous and also had some pain in my wrist. So there's also that. So anyway, I really loved this pattern, and I really just am in love with all of Andy Satterlund's patterns. And she's a Seattleite. Holla. So represent. I say that like I'm like really from here when I'm not, but I want to be. So, you know, I live here now. What? Shut up. Anyway, she has so many cute sweaters, and I really liked one in particular called the Marion cardigan, and it is a similar neckline to this, similar construction to this, with set-in sleeves in the round, which were really easy and fun to do. And I needed a sweater to wear to a wedding coming up. So this is what I have so far. I'm working on the decreases on the side. So there's sort of the cable. It's really neat. And the cable extends into the waistband. So you have like your ribbing around the waist, and the cable comes down into that. So it really unifies the look of it. Anyway, this is knit in Ultra Alpaca by Barocco, in this nice brown color that I love wearing but don't have a lot of. So I was like, perfect. Yeah, so it's happening. I don't know. Show it. Do things. Look, I'm making this. I made this. Yeah, so, what more to say? I'm using size 8 needles. And I'm knitting. And I did this in like a few days. And I noticed my wrist hurting. So this actually is not going to be finished in time for the wedding that I plan to make it for. But whatever. Maybe I'll find something else to wear, not to make, because my wrist hurts, okay? So, Andy Satterland. I want to knit all of her patterns. But the other thing that I've been chugging away at is a sweater for my son, and I kind of thought that I would make it for him to wear on his first day of school, which again is next week, and I worked on it a lot. Well, not a lot. If I'm being honest, it wasn't a lot. But I thought for sure I'd have this done, you know, and no problem, I could whip that up. No, no I can't, what am I thinking? Anyway, I let him pick out yarn. It's this blue Woolies from Joann, because he's 6, and a boy. So I got the Arlo pattern, which is a Brooklyn tweed wool folk pattern, and I started making that, and I got about halfway through the first repeat of the cable pattern, and I realized that I was putting in a lot of work for something that you could hardly see because the yarn was so dark. So instead, I just used the stitch counts from that same pattern, and I'm going to use all the decreases and the neckband and everything from that pattern. But instead of the instead of the cables, I'm going to just be doing, and you can't really even see that, I'm doing just a waffle. Basically the stitch pattern from the blueberry waffle socks I am doing on a sweater. So this will be all over, you can kind of see it there. This will be all over the body and the sleeves, and then it'll have a cute little shawl collar. So that's from my boy. I hope he likes it. He's already, you know, said he's not gonna wear it, but you know what? I'm bigger than him. Not by a lot, but I'm bigger. So, anyway, other knitting. I finished this sweater and I had a lot of yarn left over. So I decided that I really want a red beret. Okay, so I've always had this like image of a red beret that is just jaunty and adorable and Frenchy. I don't know why I think it's French, but it's French because I said so. And I was looking all over for patterns. I'm pretty much always on the hunt for the best beret in the world. Because I feel like they look good on me. And now that I no longer have the dreads, I can wear smaller hats. And a lot of my berets weren't working with the dreads, which kind of made me sad, and I started to wear like the slouchy hats, which I still love and are very cute, but I'm excited to have a proper beret. So I couldn't find one. Instead, I decided I would just make my own. So I'm gonna stand up for this. I'm using the same yarn as my sweater, and I'm doing just a bee, and it's so crunched up, but just a bee stitch, because it's my favorite. And it's easy to make increases in this stitch pattern. So right now, I have stitch markers, really cool hexy stitch markers, and this triangle from Cat's Kettle. And you know why I got the triangle. Illuminati. Yeah, Illuminati. Hello. I'm a dweeb. Anyway, yeah, and right now I'm just increasing until I think that it's gonna be good enough. And I wish it was slightly bigger cable, because I can't try it on as I go, which complicates things just a little bit. but it's gonna be so cute, I think. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I have a lot of yarn, so I have plenty of yarn left over. Oh, I'm using size 7. Yep, US 7. It's a 12-inch, so it's really, really small. But, yeah. Oh. The best part of this hat, I went on Etsy and searched for pom-poms because I wanted one of those furry, cute pom-poms. And I found a ponytail holder pom-pom that is a good size. And I'm just gonna cut the ponytail holder off and use this. I think it's gonna be so cute. I think just those together are just gonna be so cute. It's gonna be adorable. Like, so cute. And I was looking at just pom-poms. The reason I ended up getting the ponytail one was because a lot of the pom-poms are just enormous. And some of the smaller ones are actually real fur. No, I don't want that. So this one was cute. It's for little kids. But I'm using it. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It is, I swear. So there's that. I have this, my garter goodness. I am showing this because I just finished this orange bit. And I wound up my next 4 colors, which I can show you. So this one, and these 2. So starting with the light over here and ending at the dark over here. Boop. So that's exciting. What to say? It's garter. It's goodness. It's by Stephen West. It's gonna be crazy. Just like me. So that's fun. And this might go on the plane with me because it's garter. My plan is to bring this, which is like really, really easy, and one other project that I have not worked on because it's more complicated. So I'm gonna have one super easy project and one complicated project that I don't get to work on very much since I will be going on this trip alone. And that other project, which I did make some progress on since last time I showed it, but it was a few episodes ago, and for some reason I didn't show it. I don't know. Why would I do that? Anyway, it's my honeybee cardigan. Pattern is by Laura Chow. So there we go. Where's my progress keeper? There it is. So the unicorn is where I left off, or where I last showed it. And I've knit a few repeats since then. And this is going with me on the plane, I think. Because I'll be alone. I'll be able to just focus on it. And if I don't want to do easy, I will have no choice but to do this, right? Yes, it's so fun. It's such a pretty pattern, such pretty yarn. It's Knit Picks Preciosa in Canary. I just want to work on it right now, but I can't. No concentration. Does not compute. So one last thing. I know that I said that I haven't really worked on a lot, but there's not a lot of progress in a lot of those projects I showed. Like the garter goodness was really just like 4 rows maybe. Not much to write home about. But one more thing is a crochet project. Now, I am making the Cozy Memories mitered square blanket, and I'm finding that I have a lot of leftovers. A lot of scraps. And I originally planned to make African flower hexagons. And I showed those before, but I was finding as I was making more and more of them that they didn't always work. Sometimes the colors pooled in a way that you couldn't really tell it was a flower in there, or they were just really ugly. And while I am a fan of ugly in the blanket part of life, you know, just in general, I like ugly stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about it. I love 70s style ugly colors. Like, just, why did you do that? It's my thing. But it was so much that even I wasn't into it. So I took the ones that I liked and stitched them together and made this cute little hexagon. And I plan to stick this onto a throw pillow. Maybe I'll quilt, do like a patchwork, something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And that'll go on there. But I still had scraps. And I needed something to use them for. And since my wrist has been hurting, I wanted to switch from knitting and do some crochet. And since this wasn't working, I decided to copycat a few of my favorite podcasters who are making granny square scrap blankets. I know Vegan Jilly from the Knitting Broomstick is doing one, and also Kristen from Vine podcast is doing one. So I jumped on that bandwagon, and I started, where's the right side? This! And look how much I have done. This is like, this week, this is what I want to work on. So, scraps are going in this blanket. And I realized that a lot of my center is very cool colors. And then I threw in this color. But yes, I love it. I'm doing a rectangle. I'm using the same pattern as Kristen from the Vine podcast because monkey see, monkey do. And I want to be her when I grow up because she's gorgeous. Anyway, I wish I didn't have a window behind me because it's really harshing my mellow here. All right, anyway, that's this. I'm using a D hook. But I should have used a hook size larger, I think. It's still nice. It's a little denser than I might want, but it's nice nonetheless. And this purple color, I feel I should mention, is actually a sport weight. And I think if I had went up one hook size, it would have blended in a little bit better. I'm kind of regretting putting that in there. But hopefully, as it gets bigger, you won't be able to tell that it's kind of messing things up a little bit. Anyway, I freaking love this. And my husband actually really likes this too. He mentioned that it's crazy how it stripes like that. And I'm like, yeah, because it's different yarn. It's going to stripe. Dummy. Anyway, the way that I did this was I took all my little scraps of Scrapception, and I'd put them on the ball winder and joined new colors using magic knot. So I made a giant magic cake, and part of the reason that I crocheted this up so quickly was because the cake was so big that you couldn't really see like what color was coming next, and it was so fun to just pull out and then get to your knot and see, oh, there's a new color, I have to see what's after this one. And it's, the hand-dyed self-striping sock syndrome really kicked in with this. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Love it. It's not ugly. If you think this is ugly, I think you're ugly, okay? So stop being ugly, all right? Okay, anyway. Yeah. So that's all my knitting and crocheting for the past couple weeks. I don't have any needlework to show. I have not done any cross stitch, even though it's kind of ridiculous because I'm very, very close to finishing a few things and I should get going on that. And maybe my wrist hurting is a good opportunity to do some cross stitch instead. I do have some... No, wait, I have one more knitting thing I want to show. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting too. How could I forget? I made this sewing. By sewing, I made this bag. And it is housing a very exciting project that I really haven't worked on this week at all. But the yarn is what's exciting about this project, so I will pull out a few skeins. This is just Cascade 220, and the color is naturally dyed. I did some playing around with some black currants, and I made basically a dye stock by simmering currants. I smashed them up, I simmered them on the stove for a long time and made basically like a compote. How do I know the Russian word and not the English word? Like a... I don't know. Anyway, simmered it and then used Cascade 220, soaked in an alum and cream of tartar mordant, and then dyed it up. And it turned out to be this really pretty purpley, kind of dusty lavender mauvey goodness. I don't know. It's great. And I am knitting the old school. I'm going old school with this one, and it is the February lady sweater. Old school knitters, do you know about this sweater? Uh-huh. Yeah, this was like the sweater that everyone in the world, if you were anyone knitting, you were making a February lady sweater. And I actually did make one back when they were cool. And it's so fun to knit it again. And I just haven't, I decided that I was making that Andy Satterlund sweater, the Marion cardigan, for a wedding, and so I had a deadline on it, and so I put this down. But now that I have freed myself from the evil that is deadlines, I should be able to work on this more. And I'm just so excited because it's great. Everything's wonderful. Really fun to naturally dye. I've done a lot of dyeing with acid dyes, but never natural dyes. And I am fantasizing about growing my own dye garden someday and foraging in the woods for mushrooms, because mushrooms are so magical. I mean, I'm not talking psilocybin magical, I'm talking dyeing magical. Although psilocybin is probably pretty magical too. I wouldn't know. Wouldn't know. I promise. Maybe someday. No. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh, mushroom hunting. I just want to go traipse through the P&W woods and find all the mushrooms and make them into dye. Because that's the thing that happens. And if you haven't seen things people have dyed with mushrooms, you should. You should go look at it. You should look up mushroom dyeing on Instagram, hashtag because I did, and that was a black hole. And I would recommend checking out A Verb for Keeping Warm if you're into natural dye type things. Yeah. Anyway, that's all the knitting for real this time. I don't have any more knitting. Okay. So, I'm going to move on to sewing. Now, sewing. I don't actually have any sewing progress to show, but I am going to be whipping up a dress this week with some very nice fabric. But first I will show you the pattern. So I'm using this pattern. Which is Lisette 1419. It's very, very cute. And I have sewn it before. I'm wearing it. Actually, let's show it off a little bit because I do want to talk about some issues that I have had with this dress that I want to address when I make it again. So, one thing, this dress is, I made it in like a linen-esque fabric, and I did a facing on it, which I don't have a serger, so like it sometimes comes out and looks stupid, so I'm always doing this when I wear it. But mostly it fits very well in the waist. I didn't modify anything, and it's got cute little pleats in the front, which are darling. One thing that I do need to fix, this. I don't know if you can tell, but it pooches out. And that's partly posture, partly fit, or sizing. But I need to figure out a way to fix that before I make it again, because my hair does cover it right now, but I think I'm getting it cut tonight. I know I just got a haircut, and it actually looks okay right now, and so I'm kind of wondering if I should, but more often than not, I don't like it. So, I'm going to chop it off. I'm going to go pixie. I've had the pixie before, and I liked it. But anyway, that makes this even more urgent of an issue because you'll be able to see it really quite clearly. I think if I add some darts up here, it'll help bring that in a little bit. So, yes. Another thing that I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'm annoyed with the facing. I'm going to actually do a full lining this time, and that will help. Well, I mean, it'll be a lining, so it won't be able to pop out like that. Yeah. But I did a cute lace. I have a cute little pearly button, and it's just a cute overall dress. And a lot of these problems I should have addressed when I sewed it the first time, but I made this as part of a Wednesday Addams Halloween costume, and I made it in like a day. So, yes. Anyway, this one that I'm making now will be in adorable, adorable mustard fabric from Cotton and Steel. And this is a double gauze, so it will be a lot lighter than this fabric as well. That's the other thing that I don't like about this dress, is that it is a really thick fabric, so really it's not summery. I really only get to wear it in deep fall, winter, even though it's sleeveless, so it's kind of like a weird, yeah, it's like a weird thing. It's sleeveless, but yet I can only wear it in the winter, so I don't know, because it's hot, even though it's sleeveless. I don't know, it doesn't make much sense. Anyway, this is double gauze, and it's so cute. So I'm doing this for the body of the dress, and since this color doesn't really look super great on me, I chose a navy blue with this cute geometric print on it for the collar. So it's going to have a dark navy collar and this, and I thought that my Marion cardigan would go quite nicely with that, but it's not happening, so I'll figure something else out. I'm not sure what the weather's like. This wedding's in Virginia Beach. I don't know. I've never been there. What? So, bloop, bloop, bloop. It's gonna be so cute. And I got lining, which is just boring. I'm not gonna show, but I got these two buttons. I have not decided which one I'm gonna use. I'm leaning toward this one because it's glass, whereas this one's just like plastic, but it's also very cute. I don't know. I can't decide, but it will be one of those there in the center. So that's my sewing. That's my plan for sewing. Yeah. What else? I don't have anything else, except for a few acquisitions that I'm excited about, so I'll show ya. So let's move on, I guess. I mentioned last episode that I ordered a little kit type thing from Yarn Enabler that is watermelon yarn, and it finally arrived. It's awesome. Look at this. Do you love it? I love it. I can't wait to make something out of this. And since I am horrible at finishing socks, I think I might do some fingerless mitts. There's no rule that I have to make socks with this. I can make fingerless mitts. So that's the plan with this. I love it. I don't know when that will happen. Probably in the dead of winter when I'm like ready for summer. This is very cute. And then I have two more skeins of yarn. These are from Legacy Fiber Arts. Sue from the Legacy Knits podcast has started dyeing yarn. And these were from her first release. I snagged these two yarns. They're based on the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. I'm glad that so many other people adore that movie. I love anything witchy, so, you know. Vegan Jilly was talking about, in an episode, a few episodes back, about Practical Magic, the movie, and she said there's a book, and I'm like, what? There's a book? So I'm gonna have to get that book and read it. Because that movie, OMG, that movie is amazing. But back to Hocus Pocus. These are two of the three Sanderson sisters yarns that Sue dyed up. The more yellowy one is Sarah. And then this is Mary. And unfortunately, I was not able to snag Winnie to have the trifecta. But that's okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to use these for. I sort of want to put them in the same project, but I don't think they're different enough to like stripe. I feel like they'll blend together. So I don't know. Maybe they won't be in the same project, but they're so pretty. And she's starting her Christmas, dyeing up Christmas colors, and I love Christmas. I do. I'm not like a crazy, super religious person, but I love Christmas. Anyway, so I can't wait for those. Even though now I think people are gonna be like flocking to her yarn. Like these sold out so quickly. I think they're gonna do that every time now, and I'm probably not gonna be so lucky in the future, but yeah. Good times. So that's my yarn. That's all I have for this episode. I think I rambled enough. I'm gonna try to find a yarn store in Virginia Beach. While I'm there, I'm gonna drag my mama. Even though she's not a knitter, I'm gonna make her go. Awkward ending.